Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is me, Sundar Sanwar, your host for the day. I hope everyone is doing fine and happy at their place. As you know, today, usually we have our show on Mondays, but this time there was a little lag, so we had it on Wednesday, and I hope everybody is doing fine. We are talking about reimaging education. So we talk about different careers and how different careers have, made a big part in our lives. And talking about different careers, we also talk about how diversified fields are there and how much people are actually working in different careers. So today I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Naveed Ahmed Shamwari. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Ji, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. I'm fine, thank you very much. And hello to everyone.
Uh, yeah. So, sir, you are a senior consultant and founding chief executive of Community Appraisal and Motivation Program Camp. You're the author of The Understanding FATA and several other publications. You're a PhD in social anthropology from the School of Global Studies, University of Sussex. So, sir, the reason why we have actually, gathered today here is because I wanted to interview you when it comes to your career in anthropology, and I wanted to see, ask you that how much there's scope in this career, what are the ups and downs in this career. So, if you would just, lead us through your journey, that how you started off with your career in anthropology.
Well, anthropology is a very recent subject for me. I graduated as an engineer in electronics from NED University in Karachi in 1994. So after a couple of years struggle, I couldn't find a suitable job in Peshawar because Peshawar is not a very good industrial, city. Uh, I had to be based in Karachi or Lahore, for example, which I couldn't because of my family commitments. So I came back to Peshawar, and after a couple of years, I changed my interest, and uh, coincidentally, I joined a very small local NGO in Peshawar, which was very new, just a couple of months old, as a volunteer. And after spending 9 or 10 months there, I liked it very much. This new field, I thought it's a very interesting area to explore. There are many opportunities that one can think of. So uh, after some disappointment with that particular small NGO, I founded a new organization with some friends. So I was the co-founder of that particular organization in 1998. So the journey began in 1997 in the development sector, which we usually oftenly call NGO sector or civil society sector. So after a year's struggle, I was able to, generate some funds from a domestic donor. And in the meanwhile, I thought that I should develop some skills. So I did a MBA in project management from a Peshawar-based university, and then that's how in a few years' time, I started, you know, developing interest in research area. So understanding FATA was my first published report, which was published in 2008, and it was very well received by national and international community, and we started receiving a lot of funds. So and then I did some other trainings in US. IDHA, you may have mentioned that as well, International Diploma in Humanitarian Assistance from Fordham University. And then, since I was very much keen to explore the tribal region from where I come, so I had a few meetings with some international, experts and professors, and I found social anthropology very relevant because there is uh, you can find many journalists and political scientists who have tried to explore issues in Fata or tribal areas. If you have heard about the tribal area bordering Afghanistan which is notoriously famous for, Talibanization, Al Qaeda, etc., etc. So there was some work done before, but mostly in anthropology, but most work was done by the political scientists, security experts, which I found very misleading, representing us very differently as a security threat. So I thought that I should do my PhD in social anthropology, which is very different from political science. It is about past and present. It is about exploring the local culture, local values, how people conduct themselves on a daily basis, etc., etc. So, and this is very deep. It's the analysis help the methods that we use help you to go deeper and come up with very rich data, which can challenge some very uh, you know constructed norms and constructed myths that was developed during the British time,
So,
which
sir,
can.
talking about, I'm so sorry, I'm cutting you out. Talking about different norms or collecting data. Can you make it more elaborated for the audience that how exactly anthropology works as a career, and
Yeah.
what are the things that you guys actually work on?
Well, the method actually that are used by anthropologists are very different from the political scientists. So, what anthropologists, do, they spend quite a considerable time in a particular community, day and night, living there, having a very detailed discussions, intimate, relationship with the local population, and that's how they unearth very real issues, instead of just going there and interviewing some random individual just once and then developing a perspective about something, which most often is misleading. It doesn't give you a very real picture of the people, about their values, about their culture. Since, as I said, I am coming from that particular region, which was my focused area, and whenever I read material, most of them I found very misleading, and they were not well represented. They could not, convey a real perspective of how we conduct ourselves, how Talibanization, evolved during the past few years, etc., etc. So, uh, in Pakistan, I'm just giving you a very brief snapshot about, the scope of anthropology in Pakistan. There is a, dearth of researchers in this particular area. In in universities as well, you will find very few people having doctorate in anthropology. So I think there is a need in this particular sector, in education, academia. There is a need. Plus, um, uh, research in Pakistan is there is a great need for researchers in Pakistan. You will find very few people having expertise in research, on conducting in some particular areas. So there is a need in these particular two areas, and of course, in the development sector, you don't find many good researchers. There are, but not many.
Talking talking about researches that are happening in Pakistan, I also believe that because of the fact that there's a very lack, or don't you think that the whole idea of research ends because of the fact that the government doesn't support a lot of researchers in their research? And I've seen a lot of people actually not completing their PhDs because of the fact that the government couldn't fund or support their researches. Talking about researchers and talking about how much now we need research in any field, or all the fields in Pakistan, because that's how a field will actually grow. We'll see the changes from it. So you tell me, what are those steps when I talk about research with you, when I talk about taking research into the perspective? What do you think that, so these are the following steps a student should have in mind when they are going for finding out different things in their research?
Well, it's not that just there is a lack of funding, but there is a lack of political and moral support as well. I did my PhD with my own, money. So I didn't apply for any PhD locally and abroad because I thought maybe at this age I'm unable to, and I should not, get funding. And sometimes it is very difficult to get a scholarship. So my case was a bit different because I was having engineering degree, so I had to go through, getting another degree in social sciences. But yeah, with most people having degrees in social sciences, having good grades, and having a very good proposal, research proposal, they still have brighter chances to get funding from several scholarships that are being offered by these, universities in UK, in America, in Germany, and elsewhere. So you should have definitely good grades in your, educational journey, and at the same time you must have a very good proposal so that you can sell it out and you can get funding. So these are two very important steps, and of course looking for a good university, a good reputable university, but at the same time you must have uh, you must decide about your supervisors. This is also a very important step. So if you don't have a relevant supervisor and you apply for even for an admission in any university, you won't be able to get admitted because they may refuse that. Because I was refused in a few universities because there was no relevant supervisor that I could find. So eventually I could find one. Someone recommended, and then that's how I. Before my admission, I had to speak with him. I had shared my proposal, just a brief outline, and he liked it, and he said, "Okay, I'm willing to be your supervisor. So you start, preparing your application." So before you apply, you should have a supervisor. I'm referring to PhD degree. Yeah. You can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello. Did you hear me? Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But did you hear me what I said?
Yes, yes, I did. I did hear everything. My internet just stopped when you started saying that. Can you hear me?
Okay.
As you know, I was talking about, there's a little internet issue that's happening at my place. So, if I talk about, sir, research, and I talk about how much supervisor is important, I always believe that mentorship is something that should be taken very seriously in Pakistan, which we don't understand. So, what message can you give to the future advisors or the future, supervisors that are going to, accompany students? What is that thing that you believe that for students, especially, that a supervisor should actually keep in their mind?
Well, I can, suggest something to the students rather than to the supervisors because I'm
Definitely.
not a supervisor myself. So I had a very good experience with my own supervisors. I, I had two supervisors, great supervisors. They were really good, very forthcoming, and they mentored me throughout the process. But at the same time, At the same time, I heard many my classmates, they were complaining about supervisors. So I think, based on my personal experience, it's not supervisor's fault actually. When a student is not keen to interact with his or her supervisors regularly, showing interest and showing willingness to learn, then the motivation level of supervisors drops considerably down. So, my advice to the students would be to stay connected, show your interest, show your willingness to learn, be accommodative, because your supervisors know more than you. Although they tell you you know more than us because you are doing your research on a particular area in which you are an expert, but at the same time, I believe they know more than us. So uh, I think the students should show willingness and be ready for advice, and that's how supervisors they get encouraged and motivated. This is what my supervisors gave me a feedback at the end, that you were very willing, very open for ideas, and you always, remain connected. So that's how we were willing to support you. So I'm just sharing my own example, my own experience. So my one supervisor were older than me, and the other one was younger than me. So, but I give respect to both, as if they were, more. Of course, they were more knowledgeable, but they are very well-established, authors and researchers. Yeah, you heard me.
So talking about, yes, yes, I did hear you. Talking about researchers, talking about supervisors, I can relate to your idea as well, because right now I'm also on the finishing stages of my degree, and I do believe that, there's not only leaders or, supervisors are accountable, but we are also accountable for the actions that we have to take. We have to be interested. We have to show the motivation. We have to, really put our idea through and actually be wanting to be, working on it. So Naveed, how was your experience with Greenwich University's live sessions, and how much did you enjoy it?
I very much enjoyed it. It's always good to share something and to get something, to know something. So I would be very happy to get some feedback from those who have heard me. So yeah, this is just something mutual. We learn from each other all the time. Yeah, and I hope whatever I said may have some impact.
So true. Thank you so much, sir, Naveed. I really appreciate your time for coming to us and talking to us about, your career and how much it's important and what are the ifs and buts and no's and hows to do a research or, the career in anthropology. This is me, Sindhu from Greenwich University, signing off and telling you guys that please understand that there are different careers that we can actually look for. We just have to know. You must be seeing a different background at my side as well, because my whole idea of bringing this reimaging education forward initiative is to make you all understand that how much every career is important and uh, what should I say, Crocs is there to understand different careers. If you have any queries, if you guys have any issues, please let us know. If you guys want to know about more about any career, please let us know. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.